Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lisa and I produce beauty related content here on YouTube. Overall beauty chit chat reviews, tutorials, first impressions, all of that good stuff. I also have a blog, madeupmom.com, that I will link down below, which just gives me an opportunity to share a little bit more with you than just beauty related content. So I hope you will check that out. If you're not subscribed, please do so before you leave so you don't miss my weekly videos. I film and upload about 2 to 3 times a week. On Fridays, it's more health, fitness related, so check those out if that's something that you're interested in. Today's video is going to be a makeup tutorial on this makeup look using 99.8% drugstore products. I don't think I filmed a drugstore exclusive tutorial on my channel. I think I did a video that was like nothing over $10, which I guess would be drugstore, which I will link down below. But I think that might be it. I don't really do a lot of drugstore videos on my channel, and I know that they're very popular, and I know that there are a lot of really great products at the drugstore. So I like doing these videos because it forces me to try and test new products. So I do have some new products that are new by L'Oreal that I'm featuring in this video, kind of a first impression, and then I do have some oldies as well. So if you're interested in learning how to achieve this makeup look, then just keep on watching. Bye. Okay, so it is 2:30 right now, and we're going out to dinner with some friends about 7:30. So I want to apply my makeup now that it's gonna get me through the whole night. So I'm actually gonna mix 2 foundations together. I'm gonna mix the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow, and then I'm gonna mix the Pro Matte together. I like these foundations both, but I kind of I want the best of both of them right now. I want the really pretty kind of subtle glow of the Glow foundation, but I want the really minimized shine, so that doesn't really make any sense. I want this, but I don't want this. That's so funny. But I just feel like using the Pro Matte is just gonna help keep this on a little bit longer and keep it a little shine-free throughout the evening. So I'm gonna mix the 2 together, and I'm just gonna use my finger. I'm gonna apply it on my skin, and then I'm gonna go in with a beauty blender and blend it out. Just to let you guys know, I have the shades. So in the Pro Glow, I have the 204 Natural Buff, and in the Pro Matte, I have the shade 104 Golden Beige. What is your favorite eyebrow pencil or product from the drugstore? I applied my eyebrows first because that was the one product that I didn't have drugstore to do this in this video. So this is actually an Hourglass, no, not an Hourglass, Anastasia Beverly Hills pencil that I use. But what is your favorite brow product from the drugstore? Because I apparently don't have one. I wore the Infallible Matte Pro Glow the other day, and I gotta tell you, I was like, why don't I wear this foundation more often? It was so nice. It is so hot right now in Austin, Texas. It is so hot. I mean, you walk outside and you feel like you are in an oven. And so some of my favorite foundations I can't really wear because they just don't hold up throughout the day. So even though I don't usually like a really matte foundation, I found myself grabbing that one the other day because I was like, I just need something that's gonna stay, you know, shine free throughout the day, and it really did work. I was pretty impressed. I really like this combo together, you guys, because it does a really great job of evening everything out. It doesn't look heavy at all. I think the 2 foundations really balance each other out. Okay, I feel like I need a little bit more coverage in the center of my face, so I'm gonna take the matte one and I'm gonna add a little more coverage there. Since I am going in the areas that I tend to get a little more shine and get oily throughout the day, I'm using just the matte one there. I've decided my skin has changed. I've always said my skin is really normal, but as of lately, it feels like it's really oily. Oh, I shouldn't say really oily, but come midway throughout the day, I mean, my foundation is shiny and it's like transferring, and I really need to kind of switch things up because my skin changes during this time of the year. Okay, this is such a pretty combo, you guys. I mean, drugstore foundations have really taken it up a notch. Okay, so for concealer, I'm trying a new product. This is pretty new to the drugstore, I believe. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Concealer. I was just walking by and I saw this at the end of the aisle, and it was featured as a new product. Okay, so I have to tell the truth. I've actually used this a few times this last week. My opinions on it are that it's a very pretty concealer. I would not say that it is a full coverage concealer. It's a concealer that's great for days where you want to cover a little bit, but you don't want to look like you have a lot of makeup on. I think it's a great concealer to wear on days that you maybe don't want to wear foundation and you want to conceal certain areas. This is great because it's not so full and heavy that with some concealers you can't really get away with just applying that and then not applying a foundation because they're so heavy and full coverage that if you put them under the eye, it's just going to look very odd because you're going to have full coverage under the eye and then you're going to have the rest of your skin showing. This one is a concealer that you could easily do that with. or it's one that you could mix with a moisturizer if you want to and use almost like a foundation so that you get a very lightweight coverage on your skin, but you don't have a full heavy foundation feel on. It's extremely lightweight, you guys. As far as like its wearability, I can't say that I've noticed it's like a really long wearing concealer. The days that I've worn it this week, I have felt the need to touch up my concealer at the end of the day. And when I say end of the day, that's like 3 or 4 o'clock. I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, okay, I can kind of see my darkness peeping through. But I do like this concealer. I just feel like it serves a purpose. You know, this concealer might be the concealer that I wear if I'm just running errands or I'm running to the gym and I just don't want to look like a zombie, but I don't want to look like I have makeup on. I think this concealer is a good option. It kind of reminds me, as far as coverage, of the Urban Decay Naked Skin. It's still a little bit more sheer than that though, and a little more lightweight than that. This is great for people that don't really like to have a made up look or feel like they have a heavy concealer under the eye. It's very, very lightweight. I have this little guy hanging out right there. I'm going to put a little concealer on him and see what this does. It's very thin and liquidy. So I picked up the shade Creamy Natural, so which is 02. Okay, so I like the way my skin is looking. I feel like it looks like a very subtle glow. The shine is controlled though, it's to a minimum. You can still see my skin coming through, but overall everything is evened out and all my major imperfections are concealed enough. It's not full coverage, but that's okay. That's not what I'm going for today anyway. We're having a really casual dinner tonight. I'm not going to be overdressed or have a ton of makeup on, so I think that this makeup is going to be perfect. To set all of this, I'm going to use another new product at the drugstore. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Powder. When I picked this up, I wasn't quite sure if this was a foundation powder or a setting powder, but I've discovered that it is not a foundation powder because it does not cover very much at all. I've only used this on top of moisturizer, so I've used it almost as a foundation, like trying to get that coverage, and I just didn't get anywhere near it. So this is definitely a setting powder. This is definitely something to put on top of a foundation to set your foundation, but nothing that's going to, cover up anything on the skin or even the skin tone out. It's very, very sheer. Okay, and when you look at this product, it actually is divided. Half of it is a matte, very matte, and then half of it has a little bit of a sheen to it. It's the color 23 Nude Beige. It does have a little sponge underneath here and a mirror, so that's kind of cute. I never really use the sponge, although if I kept this in my purse as a touch-up powder, I suppose I would use the sponge and this mirror, so that's actually kind of handy. Okay, looking at my skin up close, I love this combination. My skin just looks nice and it's like highlighted and glowy in the right places, but it's velvet and matte in other places. It's like perfect. I actually really, really like this combination. Okay, but instead of using the sponge to set everything, I'm just gonna use a big powder brush by MAC, and I'm just gonna get a big mixture of both, and I'm gonna use this as my all over setting powder. And especially under the eyes because that concealer needs it. Okay, I kind of like this. I wasn't a huge fan of this powder when I was using it earlier in the week. When I was just using it over moisturizer, I didn't really think that it did anything. I kind of thought it was pointless. But now that I'm putting it on top of this foundation together, I think they look really, really nice. I really like the way my skin looks right now. I'm kind of loving this combination. Go L'Oreal. Okay, so for the eyes, I'm gonna play with, I picked up these 2 new eyeshadows and I don't know that I'm gonna use them both. They're the same like collection, but they're different colors. It's the metallics, the L'Oreal Infallible Metallics eyeshadows. I picked up the shade 402 Brass Knuckles, and then I picked up the shade 404 Caged. And I haven't opened these yet at all. I'm really excited to play with these. It's a tough one because I like them both, but I think I'm gonna go with the more cool toned one, the Cage kind of smoky taupe shade today. Okay, apparently I need a primer recommendation from the drugstore because I don't have any. I'm just grabbing this NARS little sample that I could find. I do want to put a primer down for these eyeshadows because I never do eyeshadow without putting a primer on. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't put a primer on. If you're going to do all that work on your eyes, don't you want it to stay? Okay, so of the L'Oreal Metallics collection, the only shades that I got were these 2. So I do need to grab a palette to have a transition shade and a highlight for my brow. So I'm going to work exclusively with this matte palette by Sona Kashuk. And this is a really great matte eyeshadow palette from the drugstore, you guys. It has all your basic neutrals covered. I grab this from time to time. I actually keep this in my makeup kit when I'm working with brides. I just like to have this because you can get brows, eyeliner, highlights, transition shades, anything you need really for any skin tone from this palette. So I do like this palette a lot. Okay, so we're gonna start with my transition shade, and I'm just gonna go in and grab this shade right here, and I'm using my favorite crease brush of all time, the 221 by MAC. I love this crease brush, you guys, because it is just the perfect size for like your average or small sized eye or hooded eyes. It's so perfect because it is precise and a lot smaller than like your standard crease brush. It's just perfect, and it's tapered to a way that it's just really gets right in there. It's not too big, but it's big enough to where it gives a nice diffused blended application. If it's too tight, then it's hard to blend, right? So you kind of got to find a good balance of not too big, but not too tight and small either. So I'm just gonna go right in there and apply that transition shade. These eyeshadows have a lot of pigment. Okay, next I'm just gonna go right into that metallic eyeshadow, and I'm gonna apply it on my lid. Before I do that, I kind of want to swatch it on my hand. Oh, wow, look at that. That's pretty impressive. That just like stopped me in my mid-sentence. Okay, so that looks pretty good, you guys. Let me try the other one so you can see what that looks like. It's a pretty shade too. Wow, look at that. That is so pretty. Okay, so those are those two shades together. Those are really pretty. They're very buttery, very creamy. They have a lot of metallic shine to them. They're really, really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna just take a 213 brush by MAC. It's just a good basic shader brush, a good size, not too big, not too small. And I'm gonna use the side of my brush to really pick up a lot of this product rather than the tip. Using the side is how you're gonna pick up and deposit the most color. And I'm just gonna go, oh my gosh, that is crazy. Wow, these shadows are so impressive. I hope they come out with more colors. When I was looking at the display, I don't exactly remember how many shades they have. Obviously you can go online and see them, but I remember that these were the two like most neutral. So they didn't have a wide variety of neutral. They kind of had a color to cover every like color range, but they didn't have more than like one or two colors for that. You know what I mean? Like they didn't have a ton of browns or neutrals. Oh, this is so pretty. One thing I love about doing these videos is that it forces me to try other brands and to try drugstore products. I know that's what you guys want to see. These are amazing. Wow, I can't get over how pigmented these are. They're so beautiful. This is like the most perfect smoky shade. Like your true standard definition of a smoky shadow is this shade right here. So beautiful. It's turning out a little more gray. I mean, I guess it was pretty gray in the container, but I thought it was gonna have a little more brown, but it's so beautiful. I love it. Yay, I'm excited. Okay, so I do feel like there's a big contrast between this gray shade here and this brown shade here, so I do need to go in with the darker shade that's kind of a blend between the two and accentuate that outer corner and blend into my crease. So I'm gonna use the Sona Kashuk palette, and I'm just gonna grab, let's grab this one right here. Actually, let's grab this one. So this is the original one I put my transition shade, and this is the one I'm going in with now. And I'm just gonna basically kind of stamp it on the outer corner and wiggle my brush back and forth. I'm not even really picking my brush up. I'm just placing it there and wiggling it back and forth. Because I have such little space to work with on my eye, I don't really want to pick up my brush and move it around a lot because it's gonna take that color a lot higher and more in than I want it to be. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. Next, for my brow highlight, I'm gonna grab just the brightest shade that you have here, and I'm gonna mix it with the next brightest shade, which is basically gonna tone down that white a little bit. And I'm using a 252 brush by MAC. I do want something pretty deep, something that I can really control where I apply it and something that's gonna pick up a lot of product. This has a really flat edge, so it's gonna allow me to get right under that eyebrow. And I'm just gonna place that color right there. And I like to kind of go around here just to soften the, that edge a little bit so it's not too harsh. Next, I'm gonna tightline my waterline with this color Deep Plum by Pixi. This is one of my favorite eyeliners, not just from the drugstore, but one of my favorite liners, period. I've talked about it a lot in past videos, but I wanted to tightline my eyes because I am doing a little bit more of a dramatic look, and I wanted to have my lash line really defined and thick. The liner that I'm gonna use on top is actually gonna be a new product that I have yet to try, but it's brown, so I wanted to kind of just deepen up my lash line a little bit. This isn't black. This is pretty dark though. It's darker than the liquid liner that I'm about to use. So for this part, I'm just gonna go right underneath my lashes, and I'm gonna just wiggle back and forth When you're looking for an eyeliner to tight line, the most important thing I think is getting something that's soft enough, because that's a very sensitive area and you don't want to be having to put a lot of effort and work into getting that product to apply, right? This is a very soft pencil. Next, I'm going to line my upper lashes with the L'Oreal Super Slim eyeliner. I think this is new. It was on the end of the aisle like it was a new product. It's basically a felt tip liquid eyeliner. So I'm just going to line my eyes with this and kind of give a very subtle pulled out wing. When I'm using this type of product, I really like to lay the product on its side versus using the tip of it. I feel like I have more control that way, and it really gives my eyeliner the right amount of thickness that I'm looking for, and it keeps it consistent, because if I use the tip, I'm more likely to kind of skip and make a big mess. This makes it a little bit easier of a process. So I just kind of close my eye a little bit, and I just kind of run the eyeliner over using the side of it. Then I tilt it up and I use the tip when I get out to the very corner, and I want to create that little wing. I don't know what I think about this, you guys. So this felt tip is pretty stiff. I've been using the Physicians Formula one, and it's a lot softer, so it gives a little bit more. This one feels pretty stiff. I don't think that I like that. Yeah, I think I like my Physicians Formula a little better. Then I'm going to come under that wing and just thicken it up a little bit. Be careful not to go too thick, because then it just kind of gets out of control and there's like the point of no return. For mascara, you guessed it, I'm going to use the new L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara. I've been completely obsessed with this mascara since it launched. I've actually been grabbing it over my Chanel volume from time to time. Now that I've had a couple weeks to use it, the only negative that I can come to say is it is a drier mascara. Like, it is already kind of, I don't even know if you can tell, but it's already starting to get clumpy around the edges and at the end of the brush. So that is one thing that I think you'll go through this mascara more quickly than you would maybe some other mascaras, but it's a phenomenal mascara. I absolutely love it. I normally put the Dior Lash Primer on first, but in the spirit of keeping this tutorial 99.8% drugstore, we are not going to do that step. So we are getting ready to go on our 10-year anniversary trip. We have been married for 10 years. Well, actually we celebrate 10 years in September, but my oldest child is starting kindergarten this year, so I wanted to get our anniversary trip out of the way. You know, I didn't want her to start school and then us be gone. We're gonna go to Punta Cana. I'm so excited. Just the two of us for 5 days. Okay, I'm gonna let that mascara dry. I'm gonna work on the blush and then come back to the eyes and work on the lower lash line once that upper lash line has completely dried. So for blush, I'm just gonna use this Milani Romantic Rose Powder Blush. I pulled this out of my drawer. I bought this some time ago and I hardly ever use it. And I don't know why, because it's a very flattering rose shade. And I'm using my Real Techniques blush brush. I love this brush. Blush seems a little sheer. I feel like I have to really grab a lot to pick it up. I'm not sure how I feel about that. This blush is like barely anything. Yeah, I don't know about this. I'm not a fan of this blush. Let's find something else. Okay, I just realized I haven't done bronzer yet. Let's do that. I'm using the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula. I obviously love this product because I have hit pan, and I don't remember the last product that I hit pan on. I love everything about this product. I love the smell of it. Even after as long as I've had it, that smell is still very obvious when you open it. It smells like coconut, it smells like the beach. But the color is just a really nice, subtle, very natural, sun-kissed look. Anytime someone really fair-skinned asks me for a bronzer recommendation, I always recommend this one because it's not orangey, it's very soft, it has a very subtle shimmer to it, so it reflects light and just looks very soft, not harsh at all. Okay, so let's go back up to the eyes. For the lower lash line, I am gonna grab, what am I gonna grab? I guess we're going to use that same liner that we used in the tight line, and we're going to very softly create a little tiny line on the very outer corner. This liner is pretty dark, so I don't want to take it over too far because I don't want my lower lash line to be too heavy. I just want to have a little product there that I can move around and smudge and smoke out with a brush. So then I'm going to take this 212 brush by MAC, which is just a very flat, almost like an angled brush for your brows, but it doesn't have the angle shape. It has just a flat rectangle shape. And I'm gonna go into this palette and we're gonna grab this shade right here, which is like a really rich reddish brown. And I'm just gonna go right on top of that eyeliner to soften that, and then pull it in a little bit, stopping basically where the color of my eye stops. Okay, now let's put a little mascara down there. A little more on top. Okay, so we're at lips. The product that I'm gonna use on my lips is by Sona Kashuk. It's this lip crayon in the shade Rose Natural. It's a really pretty pinky peach. And I am just gonna basically fill my entire lip in. I'm gonna use this as lip liner and as lipstick. This has a very lightweight matte feeling. It's not like a thick, heavy lipstick at all. Very smooth, and it glides on really easily though. It feels really nice on the lips, really, really lightweight. I think this would be a great product for summer because it is lightweight. I know summer's all about less and having less makeup on the skin. It also tends to kind of be blurring out the lines in my lips, making my lips look smoother. Oh wow, I love this color. See, I love doing videos like this because this is a product that I've probably had for 6 or 8 months, and it's just been sitting in a drawer that I would have completely forgot about if I weren't looking for specific drugstore products to film this video. And I love that. Okay, it is so lightweight, but there's a good amount of color there. It's got a matte finish, but it doesn't look dry and matte. Like usually matte lipsticks can kind of accentuate the lines in your lips. This does the opposite. It actually kind of smooths out the lines in my lips. It almost gives my lips like a blurring effect. Okay, then I'm gonna top it off with a little bit of Butter Gloss by NYX. This is the shade Fortune Cookie. And I am just going to pop it right in the center, just to hydrate and give the lips a little bit of a shine. And that wraps up this tutorial, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below what you'd like to see next. And if you're not subscribed, please do so. And I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.